Welcome, you guys.
Welcome, welcome.
Hello, everyone.
I think the audio music has to be paused and played again because it's skipping.
Boop. Stream went live. We got lots of boops coming in. Welcome, welcome.
Yep. Everyone's booping away.
Hydrate already. Time. I do have water next to me. I'll try and keep it down a little bit. I'm just gonna do sips, you know?
Sips work.
Sips work, yeah. Although someone with like a giant collection of channel points is gonna, you know, make things really interesting.
Yes, fancy setup indeed.
Yep. We got lots going on here.
Yep. And hello,
chat says the music's good.
Thank you for the follow there, Drift.
And Jonah just wasted their KFC. Nice.
Nice to have you all here. We're just gonna wait a little bit before we kind of start off the stream, just so that we can get lots of viewers in here.
Yep.
No worries. Thank you for watching the latest video. That launched yesterday. I did.
Videos.
Yeah.
Just playing bongo with that hat.
Hey, bongo on my cat. Under sample, just to answer that question, you can actually turn name tags off in your dashboard.
Alinium, thank you for the follow.
Is that a play on aluminum?
I guess so. One frosty beverage, thank you for the follow as well.
I'll have one of those too, please.
Oh, thanks guys. Okay, so it seems like we got quite a bit of viewers here. Why don't we start with the first recap for the stream? Welcome you guys.
Let's go for it. Let's go for it.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. So welcome to the recap stream for the month of July. We're going to be covering everything that's been happening in July, and got a lot to talk about. So let's get going.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get on the first.
First topic would be great.
First topic. My head has been enlarged. Okay. Our first topic coming up is the brand refresh. We've got the new logos. Now we've come out with, as you can see behind us, we've got the new logo mark. Fresh new look for Neos going forward. And it's, you know, we are slowly bringing everything in, and you know, the logos have been thanks to Chroma, who's done an awesome job on these new logos, and you know, some of that detail has already been posted into our Twitch channel. Not Twitch channel, sorry. What's that other one?
Discord channel, yeah.
Yeah.
So Chroma also had an office hours recently to talk about it, so you can take a look at the information there. If you've got any questions for the team on the rebrand, Chroma is happy to answer.
Yes. as I say, that is all on the office hours. If I recall correctly, all the notes from the office hours are on the wiki as well.
I don't think we got notes for that one, but we might have follow-up segments on the rebrand going forwards.
Yeah. There's not really too much, really, but it's, we are going for a unified colour scheme with this, which is, sort of just making sure that everything all looks pretty much the same with regards to what colours are used. It's like the yellow will be... We have certain yellows that get used in certain places. There's not really too much else, really, that I can cover on that one, really, I don't think.
Oh, we can move on.
A new look. I look forward to seeing it more.
Oh, we got some examples, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah, you got some examples here of all the Neos logos, the colour palette there, all the different variants that we can do. But the main one was, as I say, Chroma's also done some awesome wallpapers that, if you see them in the Discord, ask for them, and I'm sure someone can provide them. But there will be more down the line. You'll find out information in the Neos Discord, in the announcements channel, and also, as we said before, Chroma does do office hours on this, so that's where you can give Chroma questions on this and feedback.
All right, so the next topic here we have is the announcement just went out for this. It just went out for like 2 minutes or so before the stream. The MMC is coming up again. It's going to be running from September 1st to October 1st. It's been a year since the first MMC. So those that are aware, the MMC is a Metaverse maker competition, and it's created and organized by the Creator Jam group led by Medra. It's a competition that lasts an entire month, and you can build basically whatever you want. We've got 9 categories, and you can enter a world as a team or by yourself, and it's just exciting to see the sort of world browser light up with entries and sort of crazy stuff happen. We had a lot of entries last year. We're going to see a lot more entries this year, and to match that, the prize pool has gone up. The slide behind me says that it was at 6,000 total. I've actually just been told that it oh, the text blocked by me. There we go. The prize pool has gone up from 6,000 to 6,500. Do check the MMC 2021 channel that has just been launched for any more information about that. Full rules are available. Full category description is available. Lots of information there. If you have any questions about that, if you have any question about that, the MMC channel is there for you as well, as is the Creator Jam Discord, so take a look at there. There'll be more information to follow on that soon, so get excited.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I say, the last MMC was pretty freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had a lot of entries to go through. There was a stream where the team went through like sort of all the entries, and it was a very long stream, so we'll see what happens this year with how many entries we get handed in.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Are we ready to move on? I think we are.
Yep. So the next topic here is our past community events. We did have this past month. We've had the VBLFC event. We've had the BHaptics Sojourner Island event, which was done in partnership with BHaptics. And also coming up, we have got the Neos Fiesta, which is going on right now. So, as I say, we'll go over a few of the bits and pieces. But VBLFC was the biggest event that was held in Neos up to now. And, we had a lot of users coming in for this event, and hands down, one of the funnest events I've been a part of. The Haptics event was just phenomenal as well. It was nice to see all these people coming in, testing out this new technology, because I'd say to a lot of people, this whole haptic suit thing is quite new. And that event was brilliant, and a big shout out there to the guys from BHaptics for coming out and, being there for us on that one.
Also to our team as well. We built the map Sojourner Island, which showcased all of the haptic stuff that you can do there. That map is published. Yes. You can take a look at it. It's got all sorts of things and fun there. There's water pistols, there's vehicles, and there's all sorts, a huge map to explore.
And just a note as well, this isn't limited to just haptic suits. Because, you do have haptics in your controllers, which, you can sort of be shot with those water guns, and you'll feel that in your hands. You can go up to the flamethrowers, put your hands in the flamethrowers, and you'll feel the intensity on that as well. But Neos the Neos Fiesta we've got is a Japanese community based event, and there is just a big creator showcase on that one. As I say, I've not actually fully explored Neos Fiesta yet myself, but I have seen the world because we looked at it on our last stream, and that was... The way they put that together was just amazing. Have you actually seen that world yet, Prime?
I have, yeah. You kind of go up to this sort of library, and then you pick your entry, and then it kind of just loads around you in this sort of really weird sort of mix of sci-fi and magic experience there.
Yeah, 24-hour coming? No. Not a 24-hour again. I'm not doing that again. Oh, God,
Hey,
no.
Never say never. Maybe in the future. We'd have to come up with a great reason
Maybe
for
in
it.
the future, yeah. But
Otherwise, it's gonna be 24 hours of cheese, and I could do that any day. But
When everyone gets
Yeah,
a Neuralink.
no, but you'll have an IV with caffeine going into your arm.
Oh no.
At that point, because you'll... Oh, speaking of caffeine, I thought I'd knocked my cup then, but I remembered I'm somewhere else in the room.
no worries.
That wouldn't be good.
What did we learn from these events? Because the VBLFC was the biggest one we've ever had. Like, did we learn
with
anything?
I think with the VBLFC one, what we learned was it was more to do with the way that we need to scale the infrastructure and actually be, these events need to let us know basically what numbers to expect so we can scale up the infrastructure accordingly, because we did have, quite a bit going on during the whole VBLFC thing, and it was quite a big load on us on the servers and stuff, which actually will span over later to one of our next points, which was actually something that was done just as VBLFC happened, and this system was absolutely brilliant for helping with VBLFC, which was Signal R.
Yep. So Signal was an update that we made to our infrastructure, which allows more real-time communication of various matters. Right now, it just covers messages, friend requests, and things like that, voice messages, invites to. It lets them come through kind of like instantly. There was a little delay previously where they would, they'd sit around for a bit, and then your copy of Neos would have to ask us, like, hey, do I have any new messages? Hey, do I have any new messages? And now it's like, hey, you got a message. We're giving it to you straight away. Yeah. It's a great system, and we're hoping to expand it to other systems such as cloud variables and who knows where else. The Signal system is actually just a common library. You can look it up online if you're interested in the technical specifics, but do note that you can't use it in game for any sort of solutions or anything like that. There's no logics involved, but it's just purely for our infrastructure. We rolled that out during VBLFC, and it really helped make things a lot smoother there. VBLFC was a really large event.
I actually remember Fruits coming up to me and going, hey, you know how many execution, I think it was execution tasks or something like that, or how many queries it was for the new system, and I'm like, well, what? He's like, it's gone down a lot, and I'm like, what, 500? And he goes, no, lower. What, 50? No, lower. I was like, wow. Actually, Fruits is here. Actually, Fruits. Actually, I'm just going to shout out to Fruits. Fruits?
Oh.
Come here a minute, Fruits. What was that number that you told me?
Oh, it was like a cost for like the database.
Yeah,
so
how many
like,
calls was it?
Well, this actually separate from like Signal R, but like we had like when somebody was like fetching like new messages, it used a lot of database throughput, and a single like, fetch of history would be. It's kind of ranged, but it ranged from like 10,000 to like almost 20,000 for a single fetch. We have provisioned usually around 4,000, so like it took several seconds to complete. After the optimizations like to querying, it went from like over 10,000 to 8.
8,
Just
that
8.
was it. That was it, 8.
8, all the way down to 8. Yeah, lots of optimizations there. I'm sure there'll be more for future events happening, and there'll be more integration with Signal coming to sort of tidy up any areas there. I'm particularly interested for the cloud variable systems. For those unaware, cloud variables are variables which sync between sessions. So if you turn on a light switch in one session, it'll turn on the light switch in another session. And right now there's a little bit of delay, but in the future those will be kind of instant as well due to Signal R. And so you can get sort of cross-world, almost cross-universe communication and systems going. So I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, we actually made use of that as well, going back to the events. Again, that was made use of in the BHaptics world for the event that happened for the people that were going to do the treasure hunt.
Oh yeah,
So the cloud variables were made use there as well.
Yeah, we had a treasure hunt where people could find parts of a BHaptic system, wasn't it? And then they could win it if they were the first. And so when someone found all those parts, we communicated with those sessions using those cloud variables.
Yep. If anyone's got any questions on the cloud variable system or Signal R, by the way, feel free to shoot them out to us. I actually have...
We do have a couple of questions from previous topics we could take. I know that'll be jumping around a little bit.
Yeah, we can do.
We can do. So we have one from the brand refresh, which is, are we able to download the logos and other graphics anywhere? I believe there was a branding kit shared in the Discord. We'll be looking at moving that to more official locations later, such that it's available and clear. I think we answered the name tag one, but just to double check, there is a button on the home screen of your dash which just says name tags, and you can toggle that to be non-friends, or non-contacts, sorry, where non-contacts will show you a name badge, contacts won't, and then also to off, which will have no name tags whatsoever.
Yep, we did cover that one.
Hold on. Am I wearing a hat? Okay, that hat's just staying there.
Where's your hat?
I don't know. I heard the hat, but I don't think I've got it. It's alright.
I think someone stole it.
No worries, no worries.
And hi, Riker. I noticed someone said hello to me. Right, let's see. Also, I will say, I noticed earlier, Embar, thanks for the tier 3.
Oh yeah, we had a few things.
The Phantom hat.
Yeah, it might be something in my avatar. It's a little bit weird with the removable face, you know.
The removable face that got cooked on the cooker.
Oh yeah, that cooker.
I still remember that.
Oh, okay. Someone behind the camera has just owned up to taking my hat, so thank you so much for that. Now I know where the hat goes.
Yeah.
I dropped a USB pen drive the other day and spent half an hour looking for it. It was, you know.
Nice. Oh, okay. We'll move on to the next bit here.
Yeah,
which is
on.
The whole other thing is, you know, Signal R comes. And two-factor authentication. We also now have two-factor authentication within Neos.
Nice.
And you can enable this on your dashboard. There is a button that will say set up 2FA. You press on that button and it will go through the two-factor authentication setup for you. Guide you through it. But just a note that until you specifically switch it on for logins, it only covers NCR transactions to start with. So it keeps your NCR safe, and funnily enough, at one point, I don't know whether or not that's still true, it did actually work with KFC as well. You had to 2FA to move KFC.
We turned it off KFC though. KFC is our completely fake currency. It's our testing currency. You can use it for testing games, testing systems. There's a variety of casinos that open up around on the weekend that are purely KFC based, and it's just a bit of fun to sort of test out the systems and flows.
Yeah.
For those who are unaware, what is 2FA? Like, how do I know about it if I'm not aware?
Right. Okay. So two-factor authentication is a way of logging in to a platform more securely. So I go onto a website and I'll type in my username, I'll type in my password and press login. That's it, right? I've just logged in. But you can add a second layer of security to your account now, which is you put in your username, you put in your password. It will then go, oh wait, hang on, you need this code now. And this code will come from an app, for example, Google Authenticator or Authy. And you'll have a 6-digit code generated by this program. You will then input that into the login field, and you then log. Once that is inputted, you press login and you log in securely. So even if someone has your password, they will need your authenticator to log in, which makes your account doubly secure.
In security, there's a sort of saying which is to log in securely, you need something you know, which is your password, something you have, which is your 2FA code, and then beyond that is something you are, which is things like fingerprints, but we don't have that yet.
Free FA when?
when?
You
Hey, maybe
are
one day.
the third factor authentication.
Just better
It's
eye
like-
tracking. Just use the eye tracking to log you in or sign you in.
Oh god.
Next gen headsets do retinal scans. Yep, that'll be great.
Retinal scans.
We're good.
Okay.
But yeah, that one. So it looks like we're moving on to the next part here, which is
Yeah.
All Prime.
It is for Prime. So we made some great updates to the GitHub this month. For those who are unaware, we use our GitHub repository for, it's actually just an issue tracker for tracking what you guys would like us to work on. We have features, we have bugs, we have enhancements, we even have questions there. So if you want to get anything sort of done, you can head over to there and tell us what you'd like. And before that was a little bit difficult. You know, you had to sort of type things in. We had lots of formatting problems, but we've upgraded all of our issues to use a feature called GitHub Forms. GitHub Forms, we have a picture here, which is
Yeah, it's a white square.
right?
Yeah, this is why we use dark mode.
We have people behind the camera getting us a new pick to replace this one up here. But GitHub Forms allow you to sort of follow out a form that takes you through a process of reporting an issue to us. It'll say things like, hey, explain what happened. Hey, talk about what you would expect to happen. Please provide logs. Please provide screenshots. That will allow you to get a much more structured report to us and allow us to sort of action on that report a lot more smoothly. So the best advice I have for the GitHub is go ahead, try it. If you have any issues, we're here to help you. You can raise a question in the bugs and feedback channel or questions and help. We'll help you out getting those requests in there. They're very important as they allow us to track, prioritize, and categorize all of your requests and get them together. If you've got any suggestions at all, just log them on there. We would rather have them logged on there so that we will remember them and we'll get to them as quickly as we can.
Here we go.
The GitHub also stores our roadmap, and the roadmap kind of pairs those GitHub issues that you make together with our public roadmap, which you can take a look at. We actually have 13 available project boards on there that cover everything from physics, more on that in a moment, but also all the way to things like moderation, documentation, and even our major roadmap, which covers features that you might all be expecting or waiting for. So do check that out. Everything on there is there for you to read and there for you to consume. I do want to shout out a huge thanks to Snooper, who did the conversion for the majority of forms. We started with just one type of issue, and then I blinked, and Snooper had opened up a request to sort of change them all with all of them changed over, and it was great to get them all done. We've got a better image here, right here. And so you can see this is me making a bug report, and there's a form with everything that I need to submit here. It's the title, describe the bug, relevant issues, and it acts like a form like you might see on any other website. Takes you through the whole process. And we can change these forms to your feedback. If you want to provide more information, you have a new idea, or even if you have a new category of issue, we can just add a new form and then you'll be able to submit it.
Yay.
Do you have any comments on that one?
Not really too much on GitHub, really, to be honest. The only thing I will say is, yeah, put your bug reports through on the GitHub, but if it's an exploit issue or something that you feel is a serious issue, please post that to our moderation system and file that as an exploit. It's just that way then the exploit doesn't become public. So
the GitHub system should prompt you to do that, but thank you for remembering. When you hit new issue, it'll give you a list of like issues types that you want to report, and one of them is security, and it's like, don't do it here, and there's an external link over to our moderation system. Please submit tickets. Please tell us about anything that you're concerned about that you don't want to be public, and we'll take a look. We love tickets. We eat them for breakfast.
I hate them.
No, it's like that you talk to us.
No, it just goes to my inbox and just goes...
Emails are tasty too.
Oh, dear. But yeah. There we go. And on to our next topic now, which I love. I love this so much. Is our new default headset design, which no longer means we are using Steam VR headset. We now have our own custom design, which was created by Ryuvi.
Did we want to head over to the showcase table to go for it, or we bring it somewhere else? Oh, we've got.
Our showcase is coming to us.
The headset's coming towards us. So here we are. Here's the new headset. If you can head into the middle here, so we've got Turk modeling the new headset and design. Do you want to maybe get close to the camera here so people can see a little bit clearer? Or are we gonna?
By the way,
move
Turk,
over?
save a copy of that.
Oh, this is
There we go. So you have a custom color facet now that is again, this is a cloud variable. So what we can do here is you can change this color, and this will actually change the default color of your Neos headset. Accordingly, yeah, we have the awesome color wheel. Yeah, give it a little whirl. I'm going to come up myself. If you turn round as well. Turn around. We've got the new Neos logo on the back as well, along with on the gloves as well. There is little Neos logos as well. So if the inside of the wrists.
you okay, Turk? Okay, you're good. There's also your Neos profile logo on the front here,
Yeah.
so you can see Turk's beautiful profile icon here. So you know it's not just any old headset; it's Turk.
Yep.
Do you want to wave those fingers around a bit more?
Wave your fingers around a bit more.
Yep. Hell yeah! Look at those.
Actually. There we go. Yeah, just on, and we've got the new design on the inside of the gloves as well, complete with a little Neos logo. Got on this side here. They actually look like actual gloves now. So yeah, we've got that new design. The headset also does flash as well, with colour when you're talking, as the old one did. A little bit better. Yeah, we also have the whisper well now, which is more of a ring. And yeah, there is some really nice detail on the default hand. Now I'm going to change back to my normal avatar again now.
Thank you very much for modeling that, Turk.
Yes, thank you. There we go. There we go.
Oh. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I'm
gonna
back.
let back in. Let's
Yeah,
send that away.
So one of the other things that you can now do with our desktop mode is you can now send items in messages. So before it was a bit of a pain here. But other than that, we couldn't do too much about it. So if anyone has feedback, by the way, on the actual whispering, let us know.
That goes for the model as well. So if you
the
got
whole
feedback
model
on
in general.
the whispering or the new heads, new handset, headset and hands, sorry, then go ahead, give it to us, and we're listening to all the feedback that you have.
Yep.
Do you want to just leave that on the table? That'd be good. That's good. That's good.
Come on.
Thanks for the feedback in chat. People are saying it looks good. No, I think we'll just have to just leave that there, and I'll take it off camera. So you were saying about desktop mode. Sorry, we were jumping around a bit.
There we go. It can stay there for now.
You were saying about the desktop items?
Yeah, so basically you can send items now in desktop just by grabbing them, holding on to them, and then opening your dashboard. So that also works with saving items as well to your inventory now, which is more of a pain.
Oh,
obviously,
yeah,
you could do it through. You could obviously do it through your radio menu, but it was never that simple.
No, that's simple. Yeah, that lets you do all sorts of things in desktop. I don't use desktop that much, but I've noted myself needing to do quick things. I can now do quick things a lot quicker now that those interactions have been added.
Given people couldn't see it before, this is the new whispering vision, by the way, that we're asking you about. And leave comments on this one in the Discord or right here in the chat.
Absolutely. So instead of being a bubble, it's kind of now a little ring. And this is only on this avatar right now as we're collecting feedback on it. So please make sure you get that feedback over to us. But you can see here, we're not able to hear Wraith right now, but if I go ahead and enter the bubble here, I'll then be able to hear them, or the ring. I'll be able to hear them. So that's the...
Let me walk into it. Start talking. Oh, I guess it still cuts it out because it's going through the audio for the broadcast, huh? Interesting.
Yeah. Enjoying that big head?
Shout. But yeah, it's to bring into the fact that it's not so much of a whisper bubble, rather an area the whisper audio will be. Because whispers aren't exactly the most private thing. And, you know, we've never said that they are private, but they're a better way to talk to people close by.
Absolutely. We've got some other enhancements to go over. Should we swap to the... Oh, we're not...
Yeah,
thank you.
We've got it. We've got
it.
Procedural messages.
Yep. So we got
best to explain those ones.
I would totally love to explain them. So we've got 2 new procedural meshes. For those unaware, those are meshes which are able to be created entirely in Neos, and you can configure them and control them by specifying the properties of them, like how big they are, what radius they are. So we've got 2 new. I'm super excited by them. So we have, first of all, we have a tube cone, hollow tube mesh, hollow cone mesh. What this allows you to do is create a tube or a coned tube of any sort of dimensions. You can make them thicker, thinner at both ends, and this allows you to do sort of cones. This one looks like a rocket booster or something. You can also do just straight tubes, which is a cylinder with an inside. You can think of that as maybe a better version of this straw down here. I used it in a world recently to great comedic effect. I gave a user from our community, Soap, a cone of shame. Which we popped on their head just as a joke.
Oh, no!
And they walked around with that a little bit. I don't remember the context of why I gave it to them, but they had some fun with it. I may publish that to my public folder later, so you can go ahead and wear it yourself. And then the other mesh that we have...
The person in chat saying hack. Person that had that
We have a ramp mesh. So this is just, it looks like a triangle here, but if you imagine this a lot bigger and you imagine driving a car up it, it's designed for ramps. So you can do that for, any sort of vehicle related stuff. It's also kind of good for slopes and stairs in some cases. That's fully configurable as well. So you can configure both the length and the height of the ramp and also the width. So you can get full on ramps going. Anywhere you see a ramp, you can now create it with the procedural ramp mesh. Yep. If you have ideas for additional procedural message, this is a good example of a place where you can get them into the GitHub, because both of these procedural meshes were requested. I believe the ramp was requested by a member of our team, Aegis, and then the cone was requested on a GitHub issue, which also has some other ones that we're looking into.
Renari, that's terrible. He said it's nice to see Neos ramping things up.
I mean, we did have... There are some great vehicles with some great maps on that B Haptics Island, Sojourner Island.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'll tell you what we could do. That could also be turned into a wedge of cheese.
It could be turned into a wedge of cheese. I have just realized that. That would be fantastic addition to my corner for the next stream or whatever.
We now have a wedge of cheese in our procedural generator. There we go. From now on, it's no longer a ramp, it's the cheese wedge.
Okay. Petition to rename that to the cheese wedge mesh. I don't think we can do that.
Let's go.
There's also push to talk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't actually used this yet, so I don't know much about that one.
So push to talk is a way for our desktop users to use a keyboard key. I believe it's V right now. We're looking into customization for which keyboard key it is and how it works. And again, we're looking for feedback. This lets our desktop users press V to toggle their microphone on and off, and allows you to sort of have a little bit more control of it. This isn't currently usable in desktop unless you've got a way to sort of bind that keyboard key to one of your control inputs, and so we're looking into other ways to enhance this feature in the future. So right now it's just a little quality of life improvement that we're hoping to improve on as we go. Once again, do give us feedback on the GitHub on the push to talk or any of the other items on this list. We are listening, we are working with you guys to figure out what you guys would like.
Yes. So if you guys have got any questions on any of this slot as well,
do let us know.
just hit us up and let us know.
We do have a question that I'm happy to take, which is in the list here. So we have a question which is there any way to make a hexagon, pentagon, etc.? There is. So both with the cone mesh here, the hollow cone mesh, and the cylinder mesh, you can specify a number of sides, and that just determines how many sides are on that cones or on that cylinder. So at 16 or 32 it will resemble a sort of circle, but if you lower that number down to even 3, what you'll get is a sort of prism. You go up to 4, you'll get a square, and then above 4 it starts turning into pentagon, hexagon, octagon, etc. And you can combine those together by sort of flattening them, stretching them, etc. to some really good sort of visual effects. Try our materials from the Neos Essentials materials folder, and you can get some really good visual effects going. This here is another procedural mesh. This is a ring mesh that someone's just thrown at me, which is great. Thank you so much. This
is automatically the best.
I think it might be frame. I don't remember the name of this one specifically, but this, as you see, it's got the same size property and allows you to specify anything from 3 all the way up to however many you'd like. I wouldn't advise going above 32 though.
Yeah, hexagons are bestigons.
I think octagons are bestigons.
No.
But yeah, right now somebody's procedurally changing it right now for the... Now it's not hexagon anymore, now I think it's an octagon.
Oh, it is one-sided, so I don't...
We're being heckled, by the way. You're being heckled by the backstage team.
I'm also being heckled in that I can't see it. This particular mesh is one-sided, whereas the 3D variants are, of course, two-sided. Well, not two-sided, but you can see them in sort of 3 dimensions here.
I don't want this pen. There we go. Thank you.
There's also a group of people who have been challenging our procedural mesh system to make as many of our procedural meshes into cubes without actually using a box mesh, which is one of our procedural meshes, and that's been fantastic to see. They've done all sorts of cubes using meshes you wouldn't expect. If you set these properties as things like negative numbers and things like that, sometimes weird stuff does happen, but it sometimes looks cool.
It kind of reminds me of Prim Torture from Second Life, where you would literally take like a tube, squeeze it in, hollow it, and basically turn it into a one-piece table. So yeah, that was always a fun thing.
Yeah, I've done all sorts of things. We have an arrow mesh, and I made that into a toothpick. I just sort of squashed the arrow tip and then extended the base, and we had a toothpick.
So we have another question here.
We do. Yep. Could we get consistent flat shading and dual-sided options for procedural meshes? Not all have them. That is a great example of a request for a GitHub. If you're up to making that, please go ahead and give us a list of ones that do and don't have it.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I think we should be good to move on to the next topic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. So
we have our BAPU 2 developments and information on the BAPU V2 upgrade.
Absolutely.
As we can see here, the upgrade focuses on maintaining features. Priority to what is already running within Neos. Now running on the new BAPU V2 engine. But they're not out yet, and Fruix is working on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to get Fruix to come in and come talk to myself and Prime about the whole BAPU V2 stuff. So Fruix, would you mind coming down?
Let me move some of these meshes out of the way for you. There you go.
So I'll let Prime take this section for a moment.
Absolutely. So one of the things we do want to emphasize is that the BAPU 2 upgrade is happening in 2 parts. So right now, Fruix is working on the engine upgrade from BAPU V1 to BAPU V2. This is exciting in that there's a lot going on. You can check the devlog on our Neos Discord for information about what's going on. Fruix posts little videos, little updates, sort of every other day, really, at this point, as they get knee deep into it. We do want to specify that is no rigid body physics. So you won't be able to sort of throw this around and have it fall to the ground. I won't be able to throw this at Fruix, but it will be working on the BAPU V2, and then at some point later down the line, Fruix will go ahead and switch to rigid body physics, which will allow that kind of interaction. Do you want to talk a little bit more about sort of how that's going or anything like that?
Yes. Pretty much now, right now, like the focus is like pretty much like bringing like to the feature parity, because like even though like they're named the same, the BAPU V1 and V2 are completely different physics engines, and the second one is designed in a very different way. It's like a lot more like low level, but it's also like a lot more like customizable and a lot more like more high performance, so we can kind of like adapt it to Neos much better. And the other part of like why we're actually switching is because the original integration, that's like how Neos actually talks with the BAPU and how it like takes the information back and applies it to the world. That's been one of the oldest things in Neos, because that kind of forms all of the interactions. Like whenever you like grab something, like this is all like the interactions are being handled by BAPU. Like when I press the button, it needs to figure out like is there like an item there, and then it tells Neos like, oh yeah, there's an item there, and Neos can like do things based on that. Or like when you like use your lasers, like that's all kind of like built around the physics interactions, like the physics engine. So another reason of the upgrade is that it's a good opportunity to sort of rethink how it actually integrates with Neos and sort of like re-engineer it and make it much more efficient. Use all the like years of experience like developing things for Neos, design it like in a way that enables a little more flexibility as well, so we can kind of expand features, fix a lot of like long-standing issues. So it's pretty much like been like focus for like past while, and now it's starting to get like near the end, where we like have almost everything is sort of like integrated. So there's a bunch of different things, so like all the like colliders are integrated, like all the primitive colliders, mesh colliders, convex hulls, they're supported. Interactions for like grabbing things, interacting with UIs, all of that kind of works. We also finished like collision events. That's like when, for example, let's say you have like a box and you want to like detect like, oh, is there a user in the box, has been implemented as well. Right now the last focus and the biggest chunk of work is a character controller, and it's pretty much like how you like move around the world, like when you jump around and like sort of you collide with the environment. It's all handled by something called character controller, and that's also mostly working right now. There's like a few pieces and bits, but on the latest like devlog you can see like me sort of like running around the environment, jumping around, and for the most part it's working. There's like a bunch of like things that still need to be cleaned up and implemented. Once that is done, there's a few other small things, and we'll pretty much be ready for testing, so we can kind of start like seeing are there like any problems, like any things that like break horribly, because the goal of the engine upgrade is to pretty much like have everything work the same as before, but like with improved performance, with some improved flexibility. There's gonna be some small like additions. For example, the character collider, it'll be able to work with any shape, so like you can not only use like a capsule shape that's sort of like implicit right now, but you'll be able to like swap it for like, let's say, a box, cylinder, even like convex hull. No mesh colliders, so those are not good for collisions like that, and potentially even like compound colliders. So there's gonna be like small like kind of like improvements like here and there, and there should be like some like performance boost as well. There's actually one thing where I run into issue right now, where like the BAPU is using a library that provides sort of like vector math. Like there's like a bunch of like vector matrix and so on operations, and because of the runtime that the version of Mono runtime that's embedded in Unity, unfortunately the library it uses sort of like a fallback path, because it has like a path that's on modern runtimes. It uses like optimized like hardware accelerated instructions to make them super fast, and since that's like not supported with runtime, like it has to use the fallback path, and it's still reasonably fast, but unfortunately there's like some issues with it, like which cause it to like allocate tons of memory. It also like slows down certain things, so we're kind of looking into like patching out like those for like more efficient like versions of it. So even though it won't be as fast as it would be like with the fully hardware accelerated ones, it's gonna be it's still gonna be like faster than before. So
absolutely. So I want to sum up some of what you're saying, and also answer a question that we have going on in chat here.
Yes.
So generally, the plan is that when this update launches, for the average like user, you shouldn't notice many changes to it, and that's why we're taking so long in some areas to do it, such that when the update happens, everything that you already had works as expected, but you may notice some optimizations, improvements, and new features if you want to dig into them. That's part 1, and then to answer the question in chat, which is will part 2 allow for object physics? Yes, that's actually called rigid bodies, and you can check our roadmap on the GitHub. I'm going to just keep plugging the GitHub. I need a hat or something, to where you can take a look at what will be happening for rigid bodies. Frux is thinking about that as they go a little bit, and you can see some sort of almost accidents in the devlog channel where rigid bodies have sort of accidentally been turned on or working for specific use cases, which is fun to see inside Neos.
It's actually the fun thing, like one of like new features, and I know like there's gonna be a group of people that are gonna like abuse this. Like there's a thing where like the character controller, it technically is a rigid body. It's just like a very specialized one. So like you cannot do too many complex things with it, because like it's kind of been designed for like moving around and like user control. But with the BAPU version 2, you can actually enable, so it simulates rotation, and that means it can actually like tumble around and rotate. So it pretty much does. You can make it behave as a rigid body. It's just not. It's gonna be very limited. And not very optimized for that kind of purpose. And I know like people have fun with it, and it's gonna be like great. But there is actual like proper rigid body implementation that will allow you to have like lots of them very efficiently. It's gonna allow you to have constraints. You can like link them up like with springs, and you can link them but like with like motors, do like a lot of like complex stuff. But that's coming as a larger chunk of work afterwards, after we release like the first phase of it.
Absolutely. So users can learn more if they head on over to our Discord. They can read the devlog channel where Frix talks, so like I said, almost daily about crazy things that they're doing. Sometimes it gets a little technical, but if you're interested in that, you can go ahead and read the devlog channel. As we move forward to sort of releasing that, there'll be more announcements going forward, probably a testing phase as well, where you're welcome to sort of help us out. We've got a danger tester channel, which you can opt into by following a role in the welcome links. So that will allow you to sort of volunteer your services to help us test new features, including the physics upgrade. So if you want to do that, go ahead and take a look.
There was like a special build, like make sure like nothing's like on fire and things are kind of working. I'm still like testing them as we go, but like it's always good like to kind of give like a broad sweep over like existing content, make sure like nothing's broken before it like goes fully live.
Yep. So if you've got existing maps you're worried about, head into that danger tester build once it's available and try them out and let us know what you think.
Yes.
I think that's it on BAPU 2, if I'm aware.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Yep,
Fruits.
thank you, Frix.
Thank you, Frix.
Yeah, we will have another part coming up today, which is the Town Hall Q&A. So if you guys have got any questions, feel free to throw them at us, and we'll try our best to answer.
Any questions?
So we
will
first
answer
question.
any questions. Oh, we already did that one?
Oh, you already did that one? Okay, cool.
Yeah, that was part of our BAPU spiel. Yeah, if you've got any questions, ask us. Ask away. We're not shy. We're not scared.
Yep, and it doesn't even have to be questions that pertain to things that were discussed for the stream topics. It could be actually even anything.
I mean,
at this point. Are we still
you could even
having,
ask what primes.
Are we still having
You could even ask.
interview
Go
with
on.
Geenz?
No.
No? Okay.
Unfortunately, Geenz couldn't make it today, so we've got another interview coming up after our bit of a Q&A right now. So, but yeah, just to conclude, by the way, that the BAPU update does not come with the rigid bodies stuff.
Just double checking. Yeah, there's 2 parts here. So part 1, no rigid bodies. Part 2, rigid bodies. You've got to keep that in mind. We are going to take a look at our roadmap once BAPU Part 1 is done and just sort of see, hey, what are we doing next? And then you'll see further announcements once we're there.
Right, thank you for the coffee. Although that doesn't agree with me at the moment.
Right,
you could even ask, I mean, heck, for this Q&A session, you could even ask Prime what his favourite type of cheese is.
I get that question like 3 times a day. We have a couple of questions heading in. We have a question from One Frosty Beverage. He says, should I get pizza for dinner? The answer to that is always yes. Even if you had pizza for lunch, just always get it. I'm building up it's very difficult to remove pizza from my face, which is also removable. I don't need tools. Anyway, thank you. It's difficult. So yeah, get pizza if you want pizza. Even if you had it for lunch or breakfast, go ahead and grab it.
Yeah, these are the perks of being an adult. Just can eat pizza whenever you want.
Pineapple on pizza.
I have a pizza place that is within walking distance where I can go and pick up pizza, but it's down a hill, and I fell over running down that hill once because I was late to pick up that pizza, and it's going to get cold. And so I arrived looking quite ruffled, and I'm like, please give me the pizza. I need it even more now.
Yeah, prime. As they asked, pineapple on pizza or not?
Oh, pineapple on pizza. Pineapple on pizza is okay. Do you remember that there are such things as a dessert pizza? I once ate an apple pizza, which had sort of apple pie sort of filling in the crust as a stuffed crust. That was great. So don't limit yourself to just meat pizza or, regular cheese pizza. Think about it. I also quite like a barbecue sauce base. We have some non-cheese or pizza-related questions coming in. Your boy Sam says, will Neos come to the Quest? We have a testing Quest build that's available for certain Patreon subscribers. You can find out more about that on our Patreon page, and then take a look. We have a Quest testing channel where you can take a look at it. It is playable, but it hasn't been as optimized as it could be for Quest, and that's why it's a sort of testing feature right now.
You're probably best just to use something like AirLink or whatever that one is. Is it AirLink? I don't know.
ALVR, desktop streaming, there's various different products that do it, and there's a community of users that do use them. I know I always get surprised when someone says, hey, I'm on a tethered Quest, and I haven't even realized they've just been playing Neos with me for weeks.
Now there's a question. How come 0G is not a normal option?
That depends on the world. So it's up to the world creator to allow whatever type of locomotion they want. So you can remove or add locomotion based on your world settings. In maybe an adventure map where you're exploring through a dungeon, you might not want 0G because that might allow you to cheat,
But I know where they're coming from, Prime, is they're getting it. Why is that not a default option when they create the world?
Oh, I see.
I can explain as to why. The reason why we have it is basically if a new user joins in and they accidentally switch themselves to locomotion of 0G can be very intense of an experience, and we don't want people getting like motion sick because you can rotate and move all around, so that's why we kind of removed it as a default. We used to have it as a default, but yeah, some users would turn it on and they'd be like, what the heck's going on, I'm flying away. So that's kind of the reason as to why.
Yep.
I do want to put a quick shout out on another locomotion module that is sometimes removed from users' creations, and it'd be great if you could consider re-adding that to your created worlds, which is teleport. There are some users which are susceptible to motion sickness and they rely on teleport. Teleport still works, it's still supported by us, so consider adding that back to your world, particularly if it's a large world and they need to get around. Some users do like teleport.
Yes. Whee! Teleport beam.
We had a bunch of questions on pizza and cheese. I'm going to skip those. Feel free to come back to the office hours section and ask me all about cheese if it gets a bit quiet, or find me in game and you can ask me all about cheese. Also, check
a question from Space. Does the Minecraft World Importer still work? I still need to try it out. I believe
it does. It does. It does actually.
That still works. Yes.
It still works, absolutely. We've got another question there, which I can't read. It's too far away.
Yeah, I'll read that one for you. It says, sorry if this is a dumb question. Is there a resource for desktop-only users to learn controls? Will that be available at some point in the training center? That's a great question for you.
I got it. I think I got it. Yeah, sure. So on a default dash, which occurs when you haven't made any changes to your dashboard, there'll be a picture there which shows the controls. That's actually reactive, and so if you go in desktop, you'll see desktop controls. If you're in Steam VR like me on index controllers, you'll see index controls there. That doesn't cover all of the controls that are available, so we may look at updating it in the future. There is a resource which is our Neos wiki. The wiki does have a list of full controls, including some of the shortcuts and optimizations. Shortcuts and options to allow you to get around faster. Something which some users are not aware of, for example, is the number row. That's the number sort of 1 to 9-ish. Will select quickly between tools in desktop mode, so you can jump between logics and dev tip really quickly whilst you're in desktop mode.
Yep.
Before we continue on, any more questions? Should we see about what the note says for reactive?
Oh yeah, I was going to go into this actually. in a moment anyway, which is yes, we do. Someone actually said cheese office hours, so we could have a cheese office hour with Prime. But the idea behind our office hours is basically to allow people to come in and listen to our developers, our team, and ask questions about certain features of Neos. Say, for example, as I say, I'll use this as an example. Procedural Prime holds a session. So you come in and you're asking questions about the wiki, and how's is this documentation going to be updated? Is this documentation going to be done? When's this documentation going to be done? And you can actually react to our bot in one of our Discord channels, which is reaction roles, which allows you to get an office hours role, and you'll be notified when the office hours are starting.
We have a full schedule on the wiki as well, which also covers notes from prior sessions. The main office hours we have right now are Veer, who's our Chief Moderation Officer, goes over moderation questions. Geenz goes over graphics. I do documentation, tutorials, questions, G's. And then right now, due to the rebrand, we also have, sporadically, we have Chroma doing office hours about the rebrand. There was one this week.
Yep. And just to let you know, that is... Yep, I was just... Go on. No, you go on.
Welcome and Links, which is the first channel on Discord, right at the top has the notifications, get notifications here message, and that has the reaction role. So you can react there with a building to get office hours there. Do take a look at that. It's by a bot called Baguette, which has a picture of a turtle as its avatar.
Yeah, and as I say, to answer your question, Rack, don't ask me. I'm a bit iffy.
I'm doing great. I'm just slightly annoyed that I have to have my AC off whilst I'm broadcasting, but that's fine. I will go stand in front of it once the guys are done.
I have my AC off too.
Yeah,
it's hot in here.
It's getting hot in here.
Okay, don't finish that sentence.
No, let's not finish that sentence.
And next question we have here from is Skywin. I'll read it out for you guys because it's a little bit hard to read.
Yep. Sorry.
Are there any plans to replace the default user's home to something more homely in the future? The transplant for is sometimes overwhelming for new users. Absolutely, we do have plans to update this as well as the local world, and this is plans and ideas that we have coming up that are probably going to be happening this year. But
I believe there was some information about that in the devlog channel at some point as well. There was some pictures or ideas shared. It might be sort of lost in the middle of the BAPU updates, but it might be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll take a look at it.
It's one of those things, as I say, it'll be done when it's done.
Yep, absolutely.
Sort of thing. But I know Earthmark, or I think it was Earthmark, was collecting information from users about things that, they feel that could be quite useful to have in the home world for starters. So there was something about starting experiences going on there quite a while ago.
Absolutely. We have another question which is relevant to this from Earthmark, who we were just speaking about. Thank you, Earthmark, for the initiative you got there. Which is, can the users post votes on if we'd like this to be prioritized, the homeworld replacement? We will get an issue open for that one. I don't think an issue exists for it right now, but once an issue is open on GitHub, you can go ahead and thumbs up that issue. And you can also, if you're a patron, you can use a priority issue command, which will log it as your Patreon priority issue. More information on the Patreon priority issue system can be found on our wiki on the patrons page. As for voting things up on the GitHub, it's just a thumbs up.
Also, mind you guys, you can also set any world inside of Neos as your home world. So if ever you save a world orb, click it, and then hit the heart button, you can actually change your whole home world to look however you want for the meantime until we get a nice preset default one.
Yeah, there we go. The homeworld project is open to anyone for feedback or information. Always want perspectives.
Absolutely. So this one is from Snooper. Are there any plans to utilize the new Discord threads feature to streamline updates / topics of discussion?
I wouldn't be sure about that one. I think we talked about it a little bit, but I'm not quite sure on any results on that one. That would be more a topic that we want to work collaboratively with our moderation team on, just to make sure that we're able to moderate it and keep everything down and organized. I've just noticed a comment here from One Frosty Beverage, who says that they've got to go to the GitHub and ask people to add in plus equal, minus equal, and multiply equal. We kind of have plus equal and minus equal in two different ways. There is inside operators, there's +1 and -1, which will +1 and -1 sort of inline. And we also have in actions, we have plus plus and minus minus, which kind of act a little bit like those operators. If those aren't what you're looking for, go ahead and open up a GitHub request and we'll be happy to take a look.
Yep. There you go. Next, there's a question for you. What's that thing on your desk?
Oh, so the thing on my desk is actually a kit bash made from the assets that Aegis made, and then was kit bashed by one of the users inside of the Japanese community, and they made a cool-looking spinning, rotating object just for fun, I guess. Looks pretty cool. Yeah, that's.
I'll move on. I'll move on to the question from Yoho. There is no update yet for the look of contacts and inventory. It is planned and will happen at some point, and it will be converted over to the new Radiant UI style, but we just don't know when.
Also, that is on the UI roadmap on our GitHub. I need a hat at this point. You can go ahead and take a look at that. Also, upvote any issues around there and set them as your priority issue if you're interested in that.
Yeah. Any more questions? Let's see.
I'm just having the camera on these guys editing something.
They're working away in the background on stuff.
Get out. Get it.
Shoo! Go away!
We're behind the camera. You're not supposed to show it.
There's some more clarifications on the plus equal stuff like that. I've read that. Go ahead and open that up as a GitHub issue, and we'll take a look. Do keep those questions coming if you got them. We're happy to answer any questions. Oh, we do actually have one here. If you ask a question, please make sure to add a question mark on the end of it. That really does help us out. We've got automated systems that pick up that question mark and flag it as a question for us to answer. In which channel is the bot with reaction rolls on the Discord? It is on Welcome and Links. It's the very top channel, right underneath the Neos banner logo. It says Welcome and Links. It's got like a hand icon. Yep. And there's a lot of stuff in there, but if you just scroll all the way to the bottom, Baguette says Get Notifications here. There's a bunch of reaction rolls. The ones we're talking about are office hours. There's another one called Education and Science, which is about if you're interested in the sort of education and science sector that we do inside Neos. And there's also Danger Tester, which is the group that I was talking about previously with Fruits when we're talking about BAPU, who help us out for testing new builds and stuff like that.
Also, we are going to be doing an interview with Chroma soon. So if you got any questions regarding the brand revamp, please forward those questions to our question system as well. Just remember to put question mark at the end, and I will ask if you can you put BR and a colon at the end, so we know that question is for the brand revamp.
Oh, okay. We have another question here, which is: will you add better Twitch TV or Franca FAC on the Twitch channel? We'll have to take a look at those and think about those a little bit. We are a Twitch affiliate right now, so we are able to add our own emotes. I believe we've got like a few, and we'll have to look at that a little bit more detail to understand the implications. If anyone who's also thinking about this one, because when I read this question initially, I thought you were talking about on our in-game Twitch chat. I believe that's an issue open up on our GitHub, which you can thumbs up or make your priority issue.
Our bait light maps on the roadmap. Go have a look at the roadmap.
Baked light maps. There is an issue on either the graphics roadmap or an actual issue for it. Again, if there's an issue for it, feel free to give us some feedback. Vote it up with the thumbs up or make it your priority issue. As for Yoho asking about how the heck is our day so far, we answered that previously. You can feel free to take a look at the VOD here. Nothing much has changed. It's just got like a degree warmer in my room.
I still feel dead. So yeah, if you, as I say, once again, I will keep going on about this. But if you do have questions for Chroma, please add them into the chat, because we do need some questions for Chroma, because we can't just come up with all the questions.
Here, I'll sit next to Chroma.
Yeah, speaking of which, should we go over and go join Chroma Prime?
absolutely. I think we have one more question before we should do that, which doesn't really make sense. For Nexlin, actually, I'll read it out for you, Nexlin, so you can answer it from over there. What's for dinner, or was for dinner? They're asking what your dinner's going to be, or what your dinner was today.
Is Chad trying to hint at that I should get pizza again? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no, not the Twitch pizza again.
No, I'll probably be getting sushi. I'll probably be having sushi today.
I want sushi.
I would definitely buy you sushi. I wouldn't mind that, right?
Now to watch me get disjointed, I make my way.
Yeah, also, Earthmark asks, are you going to be making mods for the community to play with Chroma?
What?
You're like, what?
What?
I'm not really too sure what that means either, Earthmark, but we'll just leave our minds wandering.
Yep. Let's bring this. Oh, we can't grab that.
Oh, mock-ups, not mods.
Oh,
Oh, wait.
I said mocks. I thought you said,
Mock-ups.
sorry, from here at the K and the C kind of merged together. I was reading it from the side.
I guess I would ask more specifically what kind. I mean, I'm going to release the SVJs and everything. I mean, if there's like any assets anyone wants, feel free to ask me for it. But yeah, it's just a question what you want.
We could do with a copy of the to-do down here. That's easy to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The C and the K merged together, so it was like hard for me to read that.
Okay, we got some questions coming in. Do we want to start with a little intro though first?
Yeah,
Maybe.
Yeah, let's start with an intro.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good idea.
Just, do you want to say just hi, Chroma?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Chroma. I've been behind the scenes doing much of the rebrand. It's been a whole team effort ultimately, but I've been pretty much the main designer through the whole process. But yeah.
Cool. Guess we're on to questions. I guess I'll pick a question from list then. Let's take a look. So we answered the mock-up question.
Let me bring the questions panel down here, just so then we're sure that we're reading them
I think we made it non-grabbable.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna make it grabbable right now.
Okay, cool. I need my reading glasses.
I guess that's the Enter Inspector. Yeah, Turk is doing that for us.
Well, you got it. I can grab one.
There we go.
I can't because it's moving now.
Here we go. So we got it right here, nice and big. Let's get rid of some of these other questions.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh,
Oh, it's the local grabby thing. It's the local grabby thing, so you'll have to grab it individually and bring it down.
Did we answer specs for the BR?
And
Who is grabbing it and?
oh, it's just let everyone grab it and move it down and let it go, and then we'll be fine. It's just it's locally positioned once it's let go.
Okay, cool.
yeah. I think let me see what's on the list here.
Absolutely.
So let's use gradient. So I'm reading Snooper's question. Does it use a gradient internally, so that's easier to change the colors if needed? I guess. What is that referring to? There's a BR in front of that. I don't know if that's supposed to refer to a certain part of something, or is there a
BR was because for brand refresh.
Yeah, brand refresh.
Because we were taking normal questions at the same time, so we knew that those ones were related to the questions directly to you.
Yep.
Okay. So does that easier to change the colors if needed? I guess I'm a little confused with the question.
I think he's wanting the SVG for it.
Oh yeah, I'm going to provide all the assets and stuff. Again, if anyone wants any of them, just contact me. There's also going to be released on the wiki and the announcement.
Okay, so we've got that one done. There's one above that. Does the revamp include a new iconography for the event with respect to any previews available?
Yes, it does. Actually, I don't think I have any of them handy at the moment, but it is a whole new iconographic system. I don't know if I actually have that system here either.
Don't mind going exorcist mode.
You've got the Logics and Wiki iconography. You've got the Logics and Wiki iconography.
I got a little bit of this. These are just some more concepts. They're not really final. I'll just throw them at the camera a bit. It's just showing how some of the new systems can be made out. Don't think I have it, but yeah. What's the next question here?
All right, so we got. Okay, cool.
Bro?
Will UV to FA be supported? Oh, that's
That's more of a
factor.
general question.
I got that one if you'd like.
Yep.
So this one is asking for YubiKeys and things like photo keys and stuff like that. There is an issue open that on the GitHub with some conversation going. I believe the latest update on that one is that Fruix has received their YubiKey in the mail and they're looking into how that would work. Check the GitHub for more information.
Official Inspector Dark mode.
Asks for your key.
That is on the UI roadmap. Lots of the UI, if it's bright or it looks sort of old, so things like inventory context, the inspector, even the logics panel are due for a refresh at some point. You can check the UI rework roadmap for more information on that one. There are some exciting details there, lots more details than I can go through in the time here, especially since we're talking about the brand refresh, but lots happening there.
Right, and next question from Skywing Kitsune. Are there any plans to replace the splash screen to Neos?
Oh, good question.
Splash screen. I guess it's which one in particular? I mean, they're all
The one that
gonna be
loads up
replaced
saying
anyways.
Neos to
Yeah, when you're
Metaverse.
starting up Neos.
Oh yes, that one will be replaced. We're looking at a few different options, even just like some animation options for that. But it's all we're looking at doing, not so much sprite sheets, but more shader animation. But we're still experimenting with that.
That's gonna be cool.
Okay, so dashboard design things and such. Seeing how your rebrand would touch the different UI parts of Neos.
I would say to that, the rebrand, the hope is that it will influence going forward the rest of the UI design. Fruix is going to be doing a lot of that. But they're just like certain aesthetic things that can be put kind of universally. But yes, it will touch it a little bit.
Yep, and another question here. Rights-wise, how is the Neos logo and the Neos brand to be protected? Are we allowed to make modified icons that include the Neos logo?
For anything unofficial that's not being used internally or business-to-business practices, we're not currently looking at really policing that at all. So honestly, do whatever you want to it. Just have fun with it. We're not gonna harp on anyone for making some weird off-color rainbow Neos logo out there.
Fantastic.
No, it looks like we did have quite a big question before, but I think it got cut off, so I think Turk's getting that one posted in Discord.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we have some questions that we've got cooked for you, Chroma. Whilst we wait for more to flood in, why did Neos need a brand refresh? Like, why did we do it now? What made us do it?
Well, we'd want to do it before we had a large or significant growth. The earlier we do it, the easier it's going to make us for ourselves down the road. There's just a lot of reasons. One is like versatility. We want to be able to do a bunch of different promotional stuff, and we don't want to have to like kind of take guesses at it and be like, oh, maybe this, and like slap stuff together. We also just like want stuff to be unified and look the same across the board. So if anyone's like coming from this in a new place, they'll kind of recognize it. It's just brand uniformity.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's a good yes to answer that question, Renari. There will be.
That was about merch. Will there be new merch? So we have a merch store,
Yep.
which right now has the old logo. We'll be updating that to be the new logo. So if you want some limited edition old merch,
Yeah, only
Yeah.
buy it now.
Quickly grab your own merch. Quick, grab the old Neos merch before it goes away.
so I believe we just answered Freaky Wave's question about why it needed. Do you want to?
But why keep the old UI design?
The UI design is not permanent at the moment. It's still going to be work in progress. We will be moving on to UI design before long here. I can't give a specific timeline on that yet, but it will be reworked.
Right. This is a good question. Did you research? Right. have you did research to see what way the world is going for logo design? So for reference, the simple look of Patreon. Why are you deciding to make it look simple?
Oh, I see. So it's a simplicity question. Yeah, I mean, I understand the argument, and honestly, part of me dislikes the kind of trend a bit, but there is a lot of practical use to doing this. Again, it kind of goes back to what I was talking about as being like more versatile to what we can make with promotional material, not taking guesses at things. Also just making things look more uniform and recognizable when people don't necessarily are super familiar with who we are. But yes, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but it is very practical at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, most companies have it in that kind of sense, and yeah, for the practicality, it does make a lot of sense.
There was also a comment in the community about how, in some ways, the simplification can help with inside VR as well, because headsets are, in some cases, lower resolution, and making it recognizable inside VR is also a consideration.
Yeah, it is a lot easier to recognize the logo. The typeface is a lot easier to read in VR as well. So, there also, I know we covered this but there have been questions on the officiality of community logos. Will users be able to specify between different logos?
Oh, I'm sorry. You cut off a bit for me, Sagan.
Oh, give me a moment. My microphone gain's being a bit weird.
Oh, I think it was just on my end.
But basically...
It's this question up here from Tuck.
Yeah. There you go. There have been questions on the officiality of community logos. Will new users be able to specify different logos?
Will new users be able to specify? I guess.
I'm not sure on the context with that one.
Yeah, I'm a little confused on the context as well.
The wording on that one was a bit strange. So, as part of the brand refresh, what else have we got coming up with the refresh then?
Well, right now the main thing is new backgrounds for like Steam page, the Discord. That's like the one big holdup at the moment, and then finalizing the typeface is an ongoing process. After that, it's kind of like it's all over the place. So a lot of it is going to be where we miss things, what can we look at that like needs to be updated. So it's going to be an ongoing process. I can't say that this job will ever fully be done. I don't think it ever is for any company. But yeah.
You're always going to find somewhere or something.
Absolutely.
So what was the inspiration then behind the new typeface, Chroma?
I've been looking at I think you said like more readable in VR, some bold typefaces. We also kind of wanted to do a bit, so in the new typeface, they're like rounded and like slightly hard edges and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of just like planning and it was all over the place, honestly, at the end of the day.
Oh, and maybe I've got to put more expansion to that logo. In knowing what an official logo is versus an unofficial logo.
Oh, so official logo, it would just be like anything that we put out when it comes to like anything made like community, then it's community logo. I mean, I guess this is the best way I can differentiate between the two.
Yeah, it can be a bit complicated considering we are letting people make use of the logo, so...
If you are confused as well, make sure you're getting the logo from an official source. If you're getting it from the Discord, the wiki, the NEOS website, if Chroma's handing it to directly, then you know it's official.
Yep.
If you find it on other websites, then it probably might not be. We've got a lot of websites to go update that will, bleed through lots of game databases and things like that will need to be notified that they need to change.
Exactly. And as I say, if you do have questions and stuff that you don't have, to mind right now, Chroma is doing office hours as well. When are your hours, Chroma?
I don't have a specific time set for that just yet, but I am free. If anyone ever just wants to message me or ask any questions, you can ping me on the Discord, but I'm also open to DMs. So I think Discord would be preferable, but I won't harp on either way.
So there you go. But the other thing is, just make sure you've got that office hours role which you can get in the welcome and links via the React bot, Baguette. And then, you know, when Chroma does do their office hours, they will send a ping out to the office hours group on the Discord, which will allow you then to know, you know, hey, Chroma's about to start their office hours, or someone else even.
Absolutely.
Trying to think, what else have we got to cover now regarding logo-wise? I know we've got all the official colour palette stuff as well. So, with the way that the colours are matching up and everything, how did you base your choices around, you know, the colour palettes exactly? Because I know we've got the base colours. So how did you come up with the extra colours coming off from those, like the different shades?
Well, we needed definitely a secondary and I think the word's tertiary, or not. Maybe I might be misusing that word. Colors that needed to like complement them. So we had like, say we had the hero color, which I would consider the top row colors. If we have like drop shadows or like secondary information that needs to be displayed in the same color, that's when you would drop down to the lower levels here. And then far right, we have like the neutrals, which are going to tend to be used for more backgrounds, less like accent colors, but more full splash screens.
Yeah, as I say, I'm not too, you know, knowledgeable on the whole logo design ethoses and everything and how logos are made or anything like that. So, you know, it's quite interesting for me just hearing all this. Like, I can see how, for example, you've got this one here where you've actually got your grid with the positions of where everything going. It's all fully correctly aligned.
Yeah. I think. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I had a question. So if I'm going to change topic and you've got more to say, go for it.
Oh yeah. I think there's one more point. So there was a lot of question about for like doing brand colors, like how can we make this accessible to those who suffer color blindness? Well, what I ended up doing with a bit of talk with the rest of the team as well is make the color palette just like kind of the whole spectrum to make the colors as different as possible. At the end of the day, you can't always consider or compensate for everyone's type of color blindness, but you can push it a little, which is why we went with the whole spectrum instead of just sticking to like one side of it, where complementary or tertiary colors. Maybe that's the term I was misusing earlier, actually.
Yeah.
I think yours okay.
But yeah, I do agree with you on that one. As I say, it is quite hard to cater for colourblind people in general, especially with how much divergence there is with the colour blindness. It's like I'm, you know, quite good with my colour palettes. I'm missing shades, but we've got other people who, you know, might be missing their entire range of, say, red or something. So.
I had a question, which is, are we planning on changing the default font for the name tags and the Neos badges? So you'll see that we've got the mod badge, the mentor badge, the staff badge.
So the official badges are due for an update, but when it comes to the typeface itself, for that's being used in the platform itself, we're not currently looking at doing, because that is a lot of different characters we do not have the capacity to make out. Like, we're talking thousands, like tens of thousands characters per typeface variation to make that really practical. So right now we're going to pretty much stick with what we have been using in here.
Yep. Okay. So that's, you know, are you excited then for the whole brand refresh?
Yeah, I mean, it's been like a funny kind of ongoing process for like months now. It's kind of picked up heavily this past month, but like I said earlier, it's never really going to end. There's no end to it. It'll be ongoing for years and years to come. Someone pulled out like an example of what we would have to make out. So this weird noise grid that you might see is an example of how extensive you'd need to make characters for a typeface. And this is like on the small end too. So yeah, it is not very practical or possible for us at this point.
Because I assume that's covering like kanji characters and everything as well, and all that stuff.
Yes.
I can see
This
them in
is
the
just
middle.
the third.
Wow.
Oh, is it just
Get
the third
really
of
close
it?
with the
Yeah.
camera so you can see like the characters.
That's crazy.
Spooky runes.
Neos emojis.
Yes, emojis. I mean, maybe down the line, but I can't. I mean, it's kind of what we'd have so much right now. It's like we have the orange and like the fruit badges and stuff.
Yep.
Super secret badges. So, Bucky Burst, this is not related to the brand refresh. I started playing with particles to discover they don't show up in the mirror. Is that a glitch or a feature?
Mirrors are weird. And so if you've got any issues with mirrors, please open them up on the GitHub. Some we are aware of, so do search for mirror before that. I was listening on Geenz' graphics office hours, which was yesterday, and he said that he may be due to take a look at how mirrors work as part of sort of his graphical roadmap, but we can't confirm any sort of enhancements, deadlines, timelines, or anything like that. But he said he's going to take a look at them at some point and make sure they're working as best as they can.
Yep. Let's move that up out the way. Bongmaster, you missed quite a lot of information in the stream. The best thing I can advise you to do is check out the VOD later.
Yep, definitely.
Oh,
wait.
Turk's waving one back there.
We did
is
that.
there? Oh, did we do?
What are
it?
you excited
What
for?
I mean, I'm excited to get back into animation. That's more my background, is doing motion graphics. So for months now, I feel like I've just been in like the 2D design world, and I haven't been doing too much of it.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to get back into that.
Yeah, and as I say, what with the rebrand is also exciting you.
Trailer.
Yeah, trailer's coming. We haven't forgotten about it. It's still in the works.
Please.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. It feels strange to isolate out non-English languages. Is there a typeface Neos can codify by default then?
Yes, we are actually currently using one, an open source one. I believe it's by Google. I forget the name. I want to say it's Noto Sans. I might be wrong on that.
I think it is Noto Sans.
Okay.
Frix is nodding from behind the camera, so yes.
Yes, okay. I'm looking at
So-
a dozen different typefaces, or 1,000 different typefaces a day, so I kind of forget sometimes.
Okay, typeface Neos can define as the custom standard instead of a fully custom one. Yeah, that's pretty much,
Okay.
we have got the standard, we have got a standard font that we use, so... Fruits is getting some love behind the camera. Tell you what, I'm watching Fruits behind here, just bobbing around.
There is a comment on chat, which being colorblind myself in some fashion, I'd like to comment on, which is it basically talks about one of the important things when it comes to colors is the contrast, and we are thinking about that as well. We're not going to put two similar colors next to each other because they're not readable.
A big part of this design system as well is because of that point exactly, is we can't just rely on colors when it comes to defining different sets of information. Silhouettes are a huge deal universally, and just graphic design. It will be very important going forward that like anything we make with icons, like you should be able to recognize it no matter what color it is.
Absolutely.
Well, I think, as I say, there's not too much more we can go on to now with the brand information. And now, if you have any more questions for Chroma, you can do those in the office hours. If you've got any, if you have got any quick questions, however, try and get them in.
Yep. Oh, that's a good
there
question.
you go. That is a good question.
It's kind of a long story, because I initially started helping out because I wanted to help out stuff with the trailer, which is funny because that's still happening. But then there's just been more and more areas I've noticed that my skill set was valuable, and just getting to know the team more and more. I'm like, I can do this, this, and this. I've done it before, and I'm like, well, might as well do this too. But it's something I love doing. It's what I've done as a career for a while now. But it's owning it and being part of this team makes it extremely fun. Like, this is the best project I've ever worked on in my entire life. And all my things I've done.
Yeah,
I
I've got to
agree, and I'm
admit,
so happy to have you all here. All of the new people.
I've
that
got
have
to
been added
admit,
to the
being
team.
part of the Neos team is really fun because you never know what you might be working on, or you might get roped into.
Yes.
So,
Ooh.
okay. So we are going to be quickly going back over to the desk for a second. Just to allow them to clean up here a bit. But we we will be getting Geenz on,
Thank you, Chroma.
hopefully. Thank
So
you very
if you
much,
have
Chroma.
questions- If you have questions for graphics, please get them in so that when we head back on over to the interview area for Geenz, we've got them there. Feel free in the interim whilst we're getting set up to just keep questions coming in. We'll get to them as quickly as we can.
Most definitely. But yeah, I will say actually, and as I say, going on about the whole Neos team thing, this has been one of the best projects I've been part of. By far. A massive, massive props go out to Frooks for that one.
Yep.
As
Where else can we?
Fruks runs away into the wall. He's like, oh no, they said my name.
Oh, where else can we collaborate with so many brilliant people, like both in the community and on the team? I speak to more countries on a daily basis than I think I've ever spoken to in any other job.
I was going to say, I think I've probably spoken to more diverse people in Neos than I ever have anywhere else, so...
Absolutely.
I don't assume it's all rainbows and candy, but I feel you'll have a really fun and interesting team. Yeah, we do!
There is a lot of rainbows and candy, but yes.
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows.
Okay, the fun's over now. The singing started.
I didn't get any lollipops or rainbows.
I've got
well.
one.
DMCA!
I have food
Oh,
for
no.
them.
They're screaming at you, Wraith. Because
I know.
Because your singing was that pitch perfect. You were just.
I know, right?
You're just
I
that
must
good.
I must be awesome. So, if any of you guys have got any questions for Geenz, by the way, feel free to hit them up into our chat.
Should I move the camera over to Geenz? Are you guys going to be interviewing him now?
We'll be going over there momentarily once my head deflates.
Okay.
Oh, God!
Are you okay?
I think my head's stuck now.
Okay. So we're gonna head over to Geenz.
Yep.
Now your head's back to normal. Do you want to take a
hang
look
on.
over there?
I think there is one thing that we do need to get rid of, and that is these.
Oh, yep. Oh no, not the bees.
I now appear to be stuck in the desk.
There's your chair.
Is that my chair again? Right.
Yeah, it is your chair. Yes. So, alrighty.
Okay, so welcome now to Geenz,
Hey, Geenz,
who
do you
is
want to do?
our graphics guru.
Do you want to do a quick intro?
Sure.
Oh, let me city broadcast. There you go.
I mean, for those of you who don't know, I'm the graphics programmer for Neos, and I've been working on some pretty big changes that are coming down the pipeline and coming rather soon to Neos as well. It's called color management, and for those of you who are familiar with certain Unity terminology, basically it gives you linear lighting.
Yeah. Actually, I'll tell you what, Geenz, can you come up on the other side and excellent?
Sure.
Then we can bring the camera a bit further in. Because Geenz is a
Absolutely.
tiny bean.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Until the head is inflated.
I made him bigger.
Yep. Yeah, so if we could bring the camera in a bit closer now, just
Absolutely.
to cover...
There
we
we go.
There we go, that's much better.
So as a reminder here, keep the graphics questions coming in. We have some questions about lollipops. I will get next a lollipop after the stream if they would like them.
Thank you.
Why are we so awesome? I don't know. It might be exactly what we said. We've got such a diverse team and community from many countries, many backgrounds, and we're all here to make Neos VR better.
And we can all work from around the world. It doesn't matter
And yeah,
where we're at, we can all work together.
And yes, Geenz is around. Geenz is here, so feel free to ask Geenz some
there.
questions.
And
So I got our first question for Geenz.
we do, yeah. Do you remember to read them out when the questions come in?
Yep.
So we got...
I'll go with this one. Geenz, do you feel limited by working on top of Unity comparing to a low-level API like Vulkan?
Yeah, actually. So I've worked with Unity for plenty of years. Like, we're talking since it was a Mac-only application. Some of you may not even know that that was a thing. Well, it was some years ago. And as great as Unity is for stuff like rapid prototyping, for what we're doing, it just isn't really all that great, especially given that, like, we want to eventually have, for example, custom shaders in the world and stuff like that. So in that regard, Unity is super limiting. There's only so many things we can really do inside of Unity to accommodate that. So yeah, I mean, that being said, that's ultimately a temporary problem that's fixed with time and work on a new engine. So
Go on, Prime. You can ask the next question.
Cool. So we have a question here, which is how many shaders do you need to poke on a daily basis? I believe you showed a picture in, was it devlog, of the shaders compiling or something one time?
Well, it really depends. So, like, for the most part, the shader side of things isn't super intense as far as my day-to-day work. The biggest problem is, though, given how we currently have things set up, and I mean, this is really more of a tooling problem, the little screenshot of the Unity icon basically going burr in the devlog, well, that's what happens whenever we make any changes to the shaders right now. We basically have to compile those into pretty much every single possible kind of variant of a given shader, and that takes a little bit. So,
Yep.
about a day.
Yeah, we know. And yeah, Geenz is microscopic, we know.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So how hard would it be to move from the Unity render to another?
That is a very complicated, a very complex task. A lot of it kind of comes down to reproducing current rendering quirks that we have inside of Neos under a new engine, which does kind of, sort of, you know, involve basically, well, basically just kind of re-implementing some of Unity's own rendering quirks under a new engine. But you know, we'll get there in time.
Yep. Leo, you now have a croissant.
Croissant.
Croissant? Okay, so I'm out the loop, but is there any plan to implement FSR or any other upscale tech, or is it not worth VR?
That's a complicated one. So those sorts of things, well, except for FSR, that one's actually been impressively general. A lot of those tend to really depend on the specific scenario, and the kind of content you're looking at will ultimately impact, you know, how good it looks. Like, for example, FSR and DLSS don't really play well with tinier details. But we may go ahead and add it eventually, especially with the new graphics engine changeover. But it's probably only really going to be useful for, like, desktop mode or something.
Yeah. Okay, so do you know, I still remember you mentioning stuff about ages ago where what that question there. Do you often dream of math?
No.
I dream of cheese.
Yeah, I know Prime dreams of cheese. What is something that you secretly excited to try and get included?
I mean, generally more authoring tools for the community, and I mean, this kind of goes beyond, like, the like custom shaders and whatnot. Like, no, we're talking like more like, okay, so I have this world, it runs really slow. Why does it run slow? You know, being able to have like diagnosis tools and like profiling tools and stuff like that available in Neos, or hooks to kind of make that happen. You know, outside of Neos, I think that would be like stupid useful for pretty much everyone. So
let's just go into some of our general questions. I'll let Prime lead on with one of those.
I think we had a just general note of explaining color management. What I'd actually like to do is maybe call attention to our pictures for a bit that we have here, as we haven't mentioned them. Do you have sort of a real, like, layman's term explanation of color management that you can provide, Geenz?
Sure. So whenever it comes down to what you see on your monitor, this is where things get kind of weird. How a lot of people think this works is like, let's say you have white, and you know, white will say for all intents and purposes is 1. And then we have gray, which will also say for like all intents and purposes, like middle gray is 0.5 and 0.25 and so on until you get to black. Just because you go through and just because you put in 0.5 as far as like a gray value or something like that, doesn't mean that what you're actually seeing through your monitor is 0.5. What you're seeing is more like, I think it's something like 0.3-ish. And the reason why there's this discrepancy is we have these things called gamma curves and stuff like that. Basically, gamma curves kind of help things look a little bit nicer on your display output. It can help provide a bit of contrast, stuff like that. But unfortunately, it has the side effect of, when it comes down to 3D rendering, that, well, now we have to account for this thing called a gamma curve. Otherwise, all of our stuff basically just kind of looks, you know, a little bit darker when it comes down to shading and lighting and whatnot on, like, say, a white object or the like. Well, this is where we start getting into concepts such as gamma correction and stuff like color management and so on and so forth. So you can basically go through and author for, you know, like, hey, this is what my monitor outputs, but I want it to look like this on other people's monitors, basically. So being able to like author your content for whatever basically whatever your monitor outputs, and have that look the same across everyone else's monitors and headsets and so on and so forth. Some of this also eventually gets into like long-term plans of supporting like HDR displays, where, you know, we have, you know, sRGB instead of having what we call sRGB, we have color profiles such as DCI-P3, and getting more into like more like color profiles used for cinematography and whatnot. Where you have like these displays with this really good color fidelity and stuff like that. So in order to get us there, you know, color management's kind of like the first step in all that. So we can really, you know, make sure everything looks the same on any monitor you view Neos on, and to also make sure that we have even more realistic shading if that's really what you want, and making sure that in the future, once we get custom shaders, shading and custom shaders looks the same stylistically for any monitor output. So.
Would I be correct in saying then, Geenz, that'd come down as well to the provider or the creator of the headset providing the correct, is it an ICI profile?
An ICC profile.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, like, if any of you have ever seen like an ICC profile, that's kind of usually what your monitor is going to be calibrated against, whether it's from the factory or what have you. And these are usually like system installed things. You don't normally have to worry about this crap. So basically, regardless of what that profile is, content should look the same across whatever, you know, device A versus device B. So
cool. So what testing are you doing to make sure the upgrade goes smoothly?
Well, we do have these screenshots behind me, and let's see here. looks like we have a little bit of a mix and match between before and after shots. So in terms of testing, a lot of it kind of comes down to taking existing content and seeing how it looks and just kind of doing an A/B test. Additionally, some members of the community do have access to a special color management build of Neos. Like, just to be clear to everyone, it's super unstable, and we want to kind of get that stabilized a little bit more before we kind of open the floodgates as far as that. So before anyone starts asking, the answer is eventually you'll have access to it. Really, like, what we're trying to go through and get done here is making sure that content looks visually similar to what it looks like today, basically to try and avoid content breakage. So
yeah, well, that then spans on to the next question that I've got for you is, what ways can users prepare for the update ahead of time?
So that's a tricky one. So first of all, one thing I would say is like usage of like overdriven intensity, overdriven colors and stuff like that is probably by far the biggest problem case when it comes down to color management. I know that, can't exactly say don't do that, because I mean, you guys are going to do it and there's plenty of legitimate reasons to do it. But be careful with it. The higher the value gets overdriven, the more different it's going to look under color management. A lot of the feedback that we've already seen from some of the testers is like colors look a little bit different. Overdriven colors, primarily look really different. And we're having to go through and put in like automated tweaks and changes and stuff like that to prevent that.
So, and then going on from that, what would be the impact on performance with this update?
Performance impact should be minimal to non-existent. I mean, for a lot of this stuff, we're actually using the hardware that your computer already has. So graphics, graphics processors, they already have all the silicon in place to do the vast majority of this stuff right there, on the video card itself. So shouldn't really be much of any impact. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that.
That's awesome. So let's go on to some of these other questions that we got up here now. Let's see. Someone asked about that FSR mod. Does that work on Neos?
I can't really attest to that. In time, I mean, we can give it a shot, but like right now, it's just not likely to be a priority. So just because there's way too many other things going on right now.
Yep. Okay. I'll just chuck over to Prime for a few minutes.
Yeah, no worries. So we have another question here, which is, I'm curious, what does Unity currently provide for Neos? So what are we using Unity for?
I mean, pretty much just display output for the most part. I mean, well, okay, that's not 100% true. We also have some audio stuff in there and, a couple of other things. But, like, the biggest thing is just display output, more or less.
So we hand all the data to Unity and say, hey, please make a cube appear. And then it tells your video card, here, there's a cube.
Yeah, basically.
We have another question here, which I'm going to take because of the target here, which is when can we get a Pocket Prime that can help us explain every tip and node and component to us? If you go to Neos Essentials tutorial, there is a video player from the community where you can type in any topic that you'd like to see, and you'll see a tutorial on it. That includes tutorials from me and other tutorial makers who are in the community. So try searching for the tool that you're after or the component that you're after, and then you have a Pocket Prime. You could put that in your pocket, but I wouldn't advise doing that. Because it's a large collection of videos. And then we have another question here, which is, what is the most abstract graphics concept you've found that's easier to explain inside the metaverse rather than outside? I see this a lot with maths as well, so that's interesting.
Yeah, that's always a neat one.
This is a good question.
I can't really think of something that'd be easier to explain in the metaverse instead of like out of it.
I have one. If I can find my tool for it, which I made. I was trying to explain the different values of color, and I made a little gadget that renders HSV in 3D space.
Oh, there you go.
And so on our color picker, it's in 2D, but then in 3D space, we can kind of sort of render where that color is, and it kind of explains the sort of why there are 3 numbers in HSV and what they correspond to a lot easier.
I mean,
Mine's actually much easier to explain in 3D.
I mean, same actually kind of applies for like illustrating what a color profile looks like. We actually have tools to kind of like have this plane that basically represents the different ends of the color and how a given color profile like responds to certain intensities across the spectrum.
So, going on again from our questions here, what's coming? What comes next? Basically, after you've got what you've needed done.
Well, I don't want to confirm exactly what comes next just yet. I mean, like, there's any number of things in the backlog right now. Obviously, new graphics engine is like one of the long-term goals, I guess. So, you know, that'll come in time, and it's going to be done in parallel to other feature work. I have been kind of looking at adding, you know, better ambient lighting support, so like having kind of our own light probes in a sense. I've actually been kind of looking at the approach that a lot of different games in recent history have been going for here, and how that could apply in a fairly dynamic and easy to use way here in Neos. That could be a potential option. Definitely, we're going to be doing a shader consolidation pass here very soon. Like, for example, I'm sure everyone here and the people in the audience have seen just the sheer number of PBS shaders that we have, and the variety of different options that we have for them that just aren't really well consolidated or accounted for. So,
well, and then where can users find out more about this? You know, your office hours, Geenz.
Yep. Everyone is like welcome to come to my office hours. Every other Thursday. We just did it this week at 6 p.m. Pacific time. It's a 30-minute. It's 30 minutes. It's on the Discord server. Just come in, start asking questions.
You see, the thing is, Geenz is a wizard. He's secretly a wizard that specializes in render voodoo.
Nah.
So, okay, here's a question. What is the LUT? How do I create / use them?
Okay, so LUT is basically a kind of like color lookup table. They're really useful for stuff like you know, color correction, color grading, and things like that. It's a little bit different from color management, but the idea is that you can go through, create a LUT, and then apply that to the scene that you're viewing. We support these in a very specific kind of format here in Neos. It's definitely like a workflow that could probably use a little bit of work. It's a bit of an older workflow. Personally, I'm a fan of how Epic Games has previously, you know, done this sort of thing where you just like have a texture, you have a screenshot, you go through in Photoshop and just start kind of adjusting the screenshot until it's in whatever color that you want, and then you just upload the texture. So there may be some changes coming to that workflow in the relatively near future.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. And we've got another question here again. Is there some reason shaders ignore others?
Why some shaders ignore others?
Oh, Fruits has put a note there as well saying we support that.
Yes, yes, Frooks, we do support that. I was just kind of describing what a LUT is.
For the question, I think they're talking about how some shaders will render over each other's, render inside each other, have weird visual effects when they interact.
Well, I mean, so that's actually, oddly enough, not exactly a shader thing. Okay, so this is kind of where 3D graphics and rendering gets really weird. So we have these things called blending operations. So like alpha blending, additive blending, multiplying a object's color against another object's color. And we also have like render queues and stuff like that that enables you just kind of tell the GPU, because GPUs are like really dumb. Tons of computational power there. They're not exactly smart silicon. Basically, what you can do is just go through and change the render queue of a given object, and the GPU will just draw it. So that enables us to do things like, for example, just rendering, say, a overlay, on top of the world, and like having it always render on top of the world and stuff like that. So, that's kind of one part of it. It's just a matter of like what order something is being rendered, and the vast majority of the time that's exactly what's going on, where it comes down to like an object being embedded somewhere in the world, rendering over top of everything else in the world.
Awesome.
Yeah, and mind you to chat, we also are going to be stopping taking questions as of right now, because the stream is going to be over in about 5 minutes. But yeah,
I definitely a big thank you to Geenz for coming out and answering those questions, Geenz. It's much appreciated.
Yes, thank you so much.
And thanks to you guys from the chat as well for those
great
questions.
Also, before you leave, Geenz, did you want to say what's the difference between these images, or like, because I see that they're here, but nothing was talked about on them.
Sure.
I think before's on top and after is on the bottom row.
After is on bottom, before is on... Okay. It seems like...
Not exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so, we kind of have things mixed up a little bit here. It's more side by side.
So that would be like right there, and then that would be like right here.
Well, let's see here.
Or either one.
Yeah. So the top row is kind of like our before pictures, and the bottom rows are like our after pictures. Note that this is all still in development, so like the fact that things are a little bit darker is very much subject to change at this point. So, there's a lot of things going on here. One thing, especially, I feel these two screenshots all the way over here on the right demonstrate is definitely the evenness of kind of like how light is dispersed and how light fall off works. So yeah, definitely some colors look a little bit more saturated now. This isn't always going to be the case, but like definitely this kind of illustrates like how overdriven colors are likely to be processed, how they're going to look and stuff like that. So pretty much whenever you put in a value, it's probably going to look a lot more accurate. Again, this is all work in progress, so do expect things to change. But yeah, definitely over here, these two screenshots really show the biggest impact as far as like gamma correction, linear lighting, and all that other good stuff, and kind of how this is all going to impact us. So.
And these pictures, are they available anywhere outside of the game so we can take a look closer?
They'll be posted up in the devlog after this.
Absolutely. Okay.
Cool. Thank you again, Geenz.
Yep. I also wanted to give a big. I also wanted to give a big shout out as well to team who have been working behind the scenes here as well, helping us out, making sure everything runs perfectly. They're all hiding up here.
Thank you guys.
You can see Brooks there just poking out. They have their little hiding spot up there where they hide, keep an eye on us, and see what we get up to.
Cool. So everyone who wants to get here to wish chat goodbye, hop over here in front of the desk, and
feel free to come down, guys.
Yep, come down, you guys. We're gonna say goodbye to chat. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining us for this Neos monthly recap stream, going over the updates that have happened over from last month, as including for this month. And we hope you guys have an awesome Friday, and we will see you next week.
Thanks everyone for catching us. Green, get your butt down here and stop hiding.
Bye everyone. And yeah, hop into Neos. I will be hanging out inside if you're right after I take a shower. Peace, guys.
Yeah, thanks everyone. It's awesome, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys. Do we have anyone that we can raid?
I can have a quick look now.
Yeah, check that out for us.
Once I can get my gloves off.
Yeah, absolutely. Hop into Neos, you guys. Yeah, send us all
I
the
know
love
there is
inside you.
currently no one else streaming Neos right now, so looks like we'll be handing off.
Okay, cool.
Muted. Lovely.
Good job, Turk.